Hi BookTube, I'm here today with the first of my Canada Reads reviews for 2016. In this video I will be reviewing Birdie by Tracey Lindberg, and it is the book that I think should be eliminated first for a multitude of reasons. I didn't even bother finishing this book. I did skip ahead and read because all the reviews on Goodreads were like, oh, you know, like this happens at the end and it makes so much more sense, and I was just like, that's what I thought about the book. So I'll just tell you basically what it's about. It's about a Cree woman who decides to run away from everything, and she's kind of in a state where she's kind of remembering stuff. So it all kind of mixes in together, and then there's multi-perspectives. You get perspective of her aunt, her mother, her cousin, and the lady that she's living with. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the writing first. I'm looking down at my notes. I'll bring them up here. I think it needs editing. I think the writing felt kind of like it was unfinished. Kind of like there were parts where it was literally in parentheses notes about characters that I thought maybe would have been like a note to herself, oh, you know, include this somehow or something. So it was really a lot of, I thought that was like a lot of telling, not showing, like making actual notes about people and how they are. Yeah. And also the style is kind of interesting. It has a lot of potential. But she didn't stick to a style. And she wasn't able to distinguish within the styles the different perspectives. So there were times where you're reading along and it feels like the perspective of one person, and because the stories and the characters all kind of muddle together, I thought it was one person. So I really felt like she could distinguish different point of views with different styles a bit better. So I think it could have been worked out better at that point. And I think this has to do again with the characterization. So I'm just going to read what I wrote here, because in striving for a universal experience between Aboriginal women, she creates characters that are virtually indistinguishable from one another, or vice versa. Because her characters were so indistinguishable, she kind of created this universal experience, which I think is not true, personally. A lot of stuff happens, and I'm gonna say spoilers here if you haven't read it. The same things happen to all the characters. There's nothing really that distinguishes them between, okay, one is fat, one is skinny. That was like the main distinguishing characteristic. They're all repeatedly raped by their uncles. That goes for the aunt, the main character, Birdie, and the cousin as well, who's actually a product of the rape from an uncle. And so they all have this experience, and that's kind of what the uncles are. They're the rapists, and repeatedly done so. And what happens is there's an interview after the book, and I saw a lot of people writing about this on Goodreads as well, is that Tracey Lindberg said at one point that it all has to do with the colonization bomb. And this really disturbed me. I'm going to go back to my notes here again. Now, I understand the complexity of the issues facing First Nations people, and the lingering effects of colonization, of forced assimilation, of the residential schools. You know, it's there. It has to be stated and known. But using that history as an excuse for the way characters were habitually and grotesquely abused by their family is ridiculous. It sets a horrifying precedent that people can get away guiltlessly with these actions. When it happens within the communities, it's not the fault of colonization that you are a pedophile and that you take advantage of young women. That is a disturbance in your mind that needs to be dealt with, and cannot be blamed on anybody or anything else. That's just point blank needs to be stated. I also found that the constant us versus them, the First Nations, Aboriginals versus white people, was very frustrating. And I think that may appeal to some people. You know, the pseudo social justice warriors. I'd use both hands to do the quotation marks because I hate that term. But I think it's actually harmful, again, in encouraging it, because it's a very oversimplified version that appeals only to people who believe in cliches and are either or both too stupid to bother learning about the true history of what happened, and are too impatient or lazy to actually do the hard work and stuff that needs to be done to see real change happen in these communities. It's just very frustrating, and a very book that I don't think anyone should actually read. It's just not good in any way in trying to establish, I think, what she explicitly states this, that she wants it taught in law school and all the stuff, that she wants to make it personal, and it doesn't do that. It's just a very frustrating book that oversimplifies the issues and tries to look for excuses for the behavior of people. It just, no, sorry, that's it. 0 stars. I'm not even going to bother rating it. It doesn't deserve a rating. 0 stars is what I give this book. Thank you for watching.